Hey guys, I'm Mr. Fathur, and today in this video I will be doing something a little bit different, whereby I would not be showing you on how to solve a particular question from a paper 1 or paper 2 exam paper, alright? But instead, I will be showing you parents on how to make sure that your child is at the right track in his or her math progress in school, alright? So before I begin, let me go through with the main problem first. A lot of students nowadays, they tend to go back home and tell their parents this, Mama, Papa, I'm actually weak in my math, but I'm just weak in my problem sums. Then the parents actually think that the child is actually weak in his problem sums. But what parents don't know is that before you start with problem sums, there are a lot of things that you have to do before you proceed on to these questions, like the foundational questions for mathematics. The basic questions like plus, minus, times, divide, plus of fractions, minus, times, divide of fractions, conversion of percentage to fractions, percentage to decimals, vice versa. All the foundational questions in every topic of math, you got to make sure your son or daughter master that first before you proceed with problem sums. Alright? So parents, you need to make sure that your son sits beside you with all his or her worksheets ready, and then you check them entirely to see where is your child standing in terms of mathematical progress. Alright? Because a lot of students, when they tell you they are weak in problem sums, there are reasons why. Not because they don't understand the question. They might understand the question, but it's just that they don't know which operations should they use. Alright? So before we proceed to that, I will be teaching you guys, I will be going through with you guys on the different topics that you guys can go through as a checklist to make sure that your child is at the right track, okay? But in this video, I will not be showing you the whole syllabus because it's going to take very long. You guys are going to get bored, alright? So, I'm just going to go through the first half of the syllabus. Basically, whole numbers, fractions, percentage, and decimals. That's all, alright? So, let's start with whole numbers. For whole numbers, make sure your child knows how to plus, minus, times, and divide between numbers. Plus and minus, for minus especially, make sure your child knows which number is bigger and which number is smaller. Alright? The bigger number has to start first in order to subtract with the smaller number. Alright? And then for multiplication, you have two types of multiplication. The long multiplication, which is the two or three numbers multiplied by two numbers. This is an example of a long multiplication. And then the short one will be 3 or 2 numbers multiplied by just one number. So there are two different types of multiplication. Give them random numbers to get them to practice. Make sure your child knows how to do this efficiently. Time them as well. If they take way too long to solve all these questions, make sure they have more practice in it, okay? In order to do all this, make sure your child knows timetable as well. Timetable, a lot of students tell me, teacher, I know all my timetable already. But from where to where? They will tell me, oh, from timetable 1 to all the way to timetable 9. By right, you need to learn all the way till 12. Okay, up till 12 times 12. Make sure your child knows that as well. Times table 1 till 12. Don't stop at 9. Stop until 12. Alright, and the rest you can just do your workings. Okay, you want to learn up till 20, no problem. Go ahead. I'm not going to stop you from that. It's a lot better also. Okay, but minimum stop at 12. Okay, so once you're done with multiplication, go on to division. Make sure your son or daughter knows how to divide numbers from each other as well. Okay, so basically operations must master by now, especially when your child is at P6 already, because PSLE is coming soon. So it's gonna be a little bit rush for your child. So make sure that your child have a lot of practice on this first, okay? And then after this, move on to the placing of numbers. You have your ones place, tens place, hundreds place, thousands place, 10,000s place, and 100,000s place. Alright? So make sure your child knows all this. Where in the number, let's say I'll give you a sequence of digit, for example, okay? So you have 383,484. Alright? So all these numbers, make sure your child knows where. What is this? What placing is this? What placing is this? This, and this. Alright? This is the 100,000 place, this is the ones place, so on and so forth. Alright? Once your child knows all this, then you can proceed on to numerals and words. there are some questions, usually the first 5 questions, they will ask your child to write the numbers in words and words in numbers. Alright, make sure you check that your child is not making any mistakes in this. If they are, give them more practice. Okay, math is all about practice. Just give them practice. Okay, next one is order of operations. Order of operations is basically similar to these operations. You just need to plus, minus, times and divide, but which one comes first? Alright, order of operation, they add one more thing, which is the bracket. Bracket first. Alright, and then after that you go by Bodmer's. What does Bodmer's stand for? Bodmer's stands for bracket or division, multiplication, addition, subtraction. So make sure when your child receives a question that goes something like this. Okay, so you have all these set of questions. Okay, I'm not going to put here like that. I'm going to put somewhere here. Okay, so make sure your child knows where to solve first. Where can he start? Must he start 4 plus 3, or must he start 3 times 8, or must he start 3 times 10? Make sure your child knows where to start first. This is what we call as order of operations. We go by Bodmer's. Alright, once your child knows how to do this, if your child doesn't know, give more practice. If your child knows, proceed on to this, rounding off to the nearest 10, 100 and 1000. Okay, for nearest 10, 100 and 1000, usually they will stop at thousands. Okay, so just make sure that your child knows all this as well. Alright, once your child knows every single thing, when your child say that, oh mama, papa, I know already, make sure they can do a list of questions without getting any wrong answer. Then you can claim that yes, my child knows all this. Alright, once you are done with this, proceed with the next topic, which is fractions. Fractions is the second most important topic that is going to come up in every single topic. For example, you are talking about area and perimeter. Area of a triangle, you have half times base times height. This half is a fraction, so it boils down to this. Area of a circle, pi r square. If the pi is basically 22 over 7, it boils down to this. Alright, so for fraction, you have your operations as well. Make sure your child knows where is the numerator, where is the denominator. So for example, 4 over 7, okay, and the next fraction will be 3 over 5. Alright, so this I can put plus. Alright, okay, for example, for plus, make sure your child knows plus or minus, okay. So make sure your child knows that in order to add or subtract fractions together or from each other, okay, you need to make sure that the denominator, which is the bottom of the numbers, must be the same. How to make them the same? You can watch my previous videos to learn how to add or subtract fractions from each other, okay. So for plus and minus, make sure the denominators must be the same, and then you can add them up or subtract them from each other. Alright, and then for multiplication, it's a little bit different because you can just multiply the top and the bottom, so don't need to make them the same or whatsoever. Just multiply. For example, you have 4 times 3, you get 12, and then 7 times 5, you get 35. So that's your answer. So multiplication is going to be very easy, alright. And then after multiplication, we have your division. Division of fractions. This is the particular symbol that a lot of students are having problems with. They thought they don't have any problems, but actually that's the main problem, okay? Because they don't follow this. The KCF concept, the keep, change and flip concept. For example, if I give you this operation, 4 over 7 divided by 3 over 5. When they say keep, see the left one, keep, this is K, this is K, this is C, this is F. Alright, so keep this fraction, change this symbol into multiplication, and then flip this fraction. So that's how you do it. Alright, once you're done, then you can just multiply them accordingly. Alright, so once you're done with your division, if your child knows that already, give him or her a list of questions. Make sure they can do it without any mistakes. Alright, because math is all about practice. If they make mistakes, if you think it's careless mistakes, do not give them any chance. Make sure they get it right. Give them a list of like 10 to 15 questions. Make sure they can get it right without any mistake at all from all these 15 questions. One mistake done, another list of 10 questions. Make sure they can get it right without doing any form of mistakes. Okay? So once you're done with operations, make sure your child knows how to convert improper fractions to mixed number and vice versa. Mixed number to improper fractions. Mixed number means proper fractions, which means you have your whole number and your fraction. Improper fractions means the top, which is the numerator, has to be, sometimes can be more than the denominator. Okay, so that's how you do improper fractions, and make sure your child can be able to convert between these two. All right. Once we're done with fractions, move on to percentage. For percentage, likewise with every other topic, you have your operations. You have your addition, subtraction, multiplication, division of percentage. For percentage, always know that every single thing, originally they are at 100%, unless the question tells them that they are different. Okay? Originally, everything has to be 100%. And then know what the meaning of discounts are. Know what is a profit, what is a loss. Go and explain to your child. If they don't know what this means, explain it to them. Alright? I've got videos beforehand. I've got videos before in my page that will explain to you all this through examples. So please go and watch it. Alright? Then after you're done with percentage, move on to decimals now. So for decimals, basically, likewise for whole numbers, we have your operations. And then after that, you have your placements of decimals. In whole numbers, you have placement of numbers. But for decimals, we have placement of decimals. Alright? So you have your 10th, 100th, and 1000th place. What do I mean by placement of decimal? For example, I were to give you 58.416. The placement of decimals is this. After the dot, after the point form. So all these numbers are actually decimals. So the first is the 10th place, second is the 100th place, the third will be the 1000th place. Alright? Then for all these numbers will be, this is actually whole numbers. Okay? And this is decimal. Make sure your child knows how to differentiate between these two. Alright? So once your child is able to do that, then we can move on to the next one, which is rounding off. Okay? Likewise, for here, you round off to the nearest 10, 100, 1000, right? But for decimal, you round off to 1, 2, or 3 decimal places. Make sure you show your child this, alright? Make sure your child is able to do every topic, because your child will be more familiar in all these topics. Once your child says yes, give him or her a set of questions, alright? The set of questions, I will tell you how to set them up together. Alright? So once we are done with decimals, this is basically one of the most important topics for the whole syllabus. The rest of the topics, I will go through that later in my next video. Alright? But look at these 3 topics: fractions, percentage, and decimals. Alright? I circle them up together because these topics are actually correlated with one another, which means you have conversions of fractions to percentage, fractions to decimals, and then decimals to percentage, decimals to fraction, percentage to fractions, percentage to decimals. Alright? So make sure your child is able to convert these 3 together. For example, you have 50%. Convert this percentage into fraction. What do you get? And then you have a fraction like half. Convert to decimal, what do you get? Then you have a fraction like 1/3. Convert to percentage, what do you get? So these are examples, alright, of how to convert different units together or from each other. Alright, so a lot of questions from the exam papers will test you on this. This is very important, so make sure your child knows all this. Alright, so now we have come to an end of all these topics. Alright, so before I end this, I just want to tell you parents one thing. In order to make your child practice at home, don't just rely on homework. When you want to buy assessment books from Popular or any bookstore, alright, for math, make sure you have 2 sets of assessment books. What are they? First, topical worksheets. worksheets or books, okay? Make sure one book, the first book, will be based on topics. All the short answered questions. For example, like this. What plus 2 equals to 10 and what plus 810 equals to 1000. Something like that. So we'll give all the questions, which means you can see many questions into one single page. That is what you call topical worksheets or topical assessment books. That is the first thing that you need to buy for your child. And that book, make sure your child do it every day. Okay, make sure your child does it every single day, because this is to strengthen the foundation of your child when it comes to mathematics before he or she can proceed with the problem sums. And then every 2 or 3 days, get your child to do test papers. Okay, buy assessment books that has test papers, like those tropical examination papers, PSLE examination papers, test papers from other schools, etc. Alright, so you have 2 sets of learning materials for your child when it comes to math. First is the topical worksheets. Second is the tropical test papers. Test papers can be of any other format, any other book, as long as it's a test paper format, because these test papers will help your child to be familiar with the format, and then this will help your child to learn on the topic itself, to strengthen the foundation of the topic itself, alright, before he can proceed on with problem sums. But do not worry, topical worksheets will also have problem sums as well, and they are on gradual basis. Like the first few pages are the short answered questions, and then after that they will go by the longer sentences, by the longer lines, and by an increasing number of steps. Alright, so make sure that your child does this every single day, and every 2 or 3 days make sure your child does test papers. And parents, please make sure that your child does his or her revision in your presence, okay? Because children who tend to do things by themselves alone, they will tend to lose the motivation to do a daily revision, alright? Because students who are scoring a range of 20 to 50 over 100, usually the motivation of improving will be quite low. So make sure the guidance must be there, alright? So once you are done with all this and you have any questions, I'm Mr. Fathur and this is my number. Do not hesitate to contact me at this number, 82002910. Should you have any questions with regards to your child's improvements, with regards to your child's progress in his or her mathematics, and also to sign up with Mr. Fathur, your best math specialist in town, please consider this, alright? So thank you for watching and wish you all the best.